She told me she'd wipe my mouth when I couldn't anymore. She said she'd be with me until the end. Now I sit alone, counting the dollars she took. Not just money, she stole my peace. This isn't a story about love. It's a warning. I'm holding her hand across a plastic table at this little seafood place in Pattaya. 6 months we've been together now. Howard, she says, her voice soft like always, you worry too much about tomorrow. I squeeze her fingers. Everything about Pim feels careful, intentional. She never rushes, never demands. A few nights ago I got an email from a longtime viewer. He's been following the channel since the early days, and he said something that cracked me open. You weren't naive, Howard. You were just lonely. So was I. I sat there reading that line over and over again. At first I felt this weird defensiveness rise up, then guilt, and then something else. Maybe it was a kind of sad relief, like someone had just walked into the room and turned the lights on. I wasn't the only one who fell for the soft voice, the promises, the quiet lies. It's strange. You think you're telling your story alone into the dark, but then someone answers. And suddenly, the silence feels less heavy. So before I begin, I just want to thank each and every one of you, especially those who keep coming back week after week. If you're watching this, drop a comment below and tell me where you're tuning in from. And if this story hits close to home, don't be afraid to share your truth too. And to the folks who've hit the super thanks or sent me personal notes, I see you. I appreciate you more than I can say. You keep this channel alive. You remind me I'm not just talking into the void. All right, let me take you back to where it all started. I can't help it, I tell her. I'm 57. My body's already falling apart. High blood pressure, arthritis in my hands. What happens when I can't take care of myself anymore? She tilts her head, those dark eyes serious now. I take care of you, she says simply. That's what people do when they love someone. The words hit me harder than they should. 2 divorces taught me that love has conditions. But sitting here, watching her pick the bones from my fish without me asking, I want to believe her. You really mean that? I ask. She nods, bringing a perfect bite to my lips. I promise you, Howard. When you get old, really old, I will still be here. I will help you walk. I will cook for you. I will never leave you when you need me most. Something inside my chest loosens. For the first time in years, I'm not afraid of growing old. Pim, I whisper. And she smiles, that quiet smile that made me fall for her. What? She asks. Nothing, I say, but everything has changed. I believe her. God help me, I believe every word. The waiter brings our bill, and she doesn't reach for it, just keeps holding my hand like my money doesn't exist. This is who she is, I tell myself. This is the woman who's going to grow old with me. I met her 3 months before that dinner, at a noodle stall near the market. I was eating alone when this young woman sat down 2 stools over. She wore a simple yellow dress, no makeup, no fake smile directed at foreign men. You like the tom yum? She asked me. Her English was careful but clear. First time trying it, I admitted. She laughed. Spicy for farang, she said, but good for health. We talked for 2 hours. She told me she came from Chiang Mai. I move here to find work, she said. Clean work, not bar work. What's wrong with bar work? I asked. Her face became serious. Nothing wrong if that's what you want, but not for me. I want different life. Want to help people, maybe have small business one day. Bar girls, they have to pretend to love men for money. I don't want to pretend anything. I believed her. Most women I met in Thailand, the conversation always led to money. Pim never asked. The next week, she showed up at my condo with groceries. I make you real tom yum, she said. She cooked for 3 hours, explaining each ingredient. When I tried to pay her, she waved me off. Friends don't pay friends for cooking, she said. By the end of the month, she was coming over every few days. She'd clip my toenails when I complained about my back. Howard, she'd say when I protested, this is what I want to do. Let me care for you. No woman had ever said that to me before. My first wife left when money got tight. My second wife left when I got hurt on the job. They saw burden. Pim saw opportunity to love someone. 2 months later, I'm signing papers for a bigger place near Jomtien beach. 2 bedrooms, balcony facing the ocean. She live here too? The landlord asks. I look at Pim. She's quiet, letting me decide. Yes, I tell him. Put both names on the lease. She squeezes my arm but doesn't say anything until we're alone. You sure about this, Howard? I am sure. I'm sure about you, I tell her. She kisses my forehead. That night, she unpacks her single suitcase. Everything she owns fits in one small bag. Our life develops a rhythm. I wake up to tea on my nightstand and my pills laid out beside it. She's memorized my medication schedule. Doctors say take with food, she reminds me, bringing toast. We eat breakfast on the balcony, watching fishing boats head out for the day. She starts talking about her dreams more often. One day, maybe I open small salon, she says, just for local ladies, nothing fancy. I watch her hands work braiding a neighbor's hair. You'd be good at that, I tell her. You think so? She asks. I think so, I say. And when you're ready, we'll figure out how to make it happen. That night, she suggests we open a joint bank account. For our future, she says, it makes sense. We're sharing everything else now. At the bank, she holds my hand while I sign. The account starts with $20,000. She stares at the balance like she can't believe it's real. So much money, she whispers. Our money, I correct her. 3 weeks later, she comes home excited. Her cheeks are flushed, her eyes bright. Howard, I found something, she says, pulling me to the couch. Small space near the market. Perfect for salon. Lady who owns it, she like me. How much? I ask. She looks nervous. 20,000 baht for deposit, but I understand if too much. 20,000 baht, $600. That's nothing, I tell her. Let's go look at it tomorrow. She throws her arms around me. Really? You want to see it with me? The next morning, we walk through the small concrete space. It's empty but clean. She moves around it like she can already see it finished. Mirror here, she says. Chairs here. Small sink in back. The landlady and Pim talk rapidly in Thai. Finally, Pim turns to me. She say yes to deposit, but also need money for renovation. Paint, chairs, mirrors, maybe 30,000 more baht. That afternoon, I transfer the money. She cries when the bank confirms it. Nobody ever believe in me like this, she says. You make my dreams possible, Howard. I hold her while she cries, and I feel useful in a way I haven't felt in years. Over the next month, she's gone most days working on the salon. Painting today, she tells me. Tomorrow, install mirrors. She comes home exhausted but happy. I offer to help, to see what she's built, but she waves me off. Not ready yet, she says. Want to surprise you. But by the end of the month, she needs more money. Chair's more expensive than I think, she explains. Another $1,500. Then, electrical work. Then, licenses. Each time she asks like it hurts her. Each time I say yes because I love her and believe in what we're building together. I find it by accident on a Tuesday morning. She's in the shower and her phone is buzzing on the counter. Except it's not her phone. This one is smaller, older, a backup phone I've never seen. The screen lights up with messages in Thai, but I can see English words. Miss you. Baby. Heart emojis. My stomach drops. I shouldn't look, but my hands are already swiping the screen. Messages mostly in Thai, but scattered English jumps out. Come back soon. I take care of you. Photos too. Pictures of her I've never seen. Pictures with men I don't recognize. Tight dresses, makeup, smiling in ways she's never smiled at me. I hear the shower turn off and quickly put the phone back. My hands are shaking. She comes out wrapped in a towel, humming. Good morning, my love, she says, kissing my cheek. You okay? You look pale. I force a smile. Just tired, I lie. I watch her move around the kitchen like nothing has changed, like she doesn't have a second phone full of messages from other men. The rational part of my brain is screaming at me to confront her, but a bigger part of me is terrified of what those answers might be. I need to go to salon today, she says, setting breakfast in front of me. Big day, finally ready to show you soon. She seems genuinely excited. How can she be lying about the salon and still seem so authentic? Maybe the phone is old. Maybe those pictures are from before we met. Maybe I'm being paranoid. That night, she curls up against me. Howard, she says softly, I need one more thing for salon. Small thing, 10,000 baht for supplies, last money, I promise. I should say no. I should ask about the phone. Instead, I nod and promise to transfer the money. Because I'm scared. Because I don't want to lose the only person who's ever promised to take care of me when I'm old. The salon never opens. Week after week, she has new excuses. Problems with permits. Issues with the landlord. She's gone for longer periods now. Sometimes stays out all night. Working late, she says. Then one evening, I can't take it anymore. I walk to the market, to the address she gave me. I stand outside the small concrete space and peer through the windows. It's empty, completely empty. No paint, no mirrors, no chairs, just dust and broken lies. My phone buzzes. A text from Pim. Working late again tonight. Don't wait up. I stare at the message, then at the empty space, then back at the message. The pieces start falling into place like dominoes. The second phone, the pictures, the men, the money. I call her, straight to voicemail. I call again. Same thing. I walk home in a daze, my mind racing through every conversation, every promise, every time I transferred money. When I get home, I go straight to my laptop and log into online banking. The joint account shows $312 from the $20,000 I started with, plus all the transfers for the salon. I sit there staring at the screen until 3 in the morning. She never comes home. At dawn, my phone buzzes. Howard, I'm sorry. I need space to think. Don't wait for me. Don't try to find me. That's it. No explanation. Just gone. Like she was never really here. Except for the empty bank account. Except for the old man sitting alone in a condo he can no longer afford. I spend the morning going through bank statements. $63,000. Gone. She'd been taking small amounts for months. A few hundred here for groceries. A few hundred there for medicine. Small enough that I never noticed. Large enough that it all added up to everything I had saved. She promised to take care of me when I got old, then stole the money I needed to take care of myself. I was her retirement plan, not her partner. Every tender moment, every promise about growing old together, it was all just investment in her future. My blood pressure medication costs $60 a month. Rent is $800. My pension covers the basics if I live like a monk. No restaurants, no margin for emergencies, and certainly no money for the kind of care I was promised. I call my bank to report fraud, but what can I prove? She had legitimate access to the joint account. I understand this is difficult, sir, the representative says, but you willingly shared account access with this individual. We can't classify consensual transactions as fraud. Consensual. That's the word that breaks something inside me. I consented to love her. I consented to trust her, but I never consented to being a mark. I never consented to being a retirement plan disguised as a romance. That night, I count my blood pressure pills. 30-day supply. What happens when they run out and I can't afford more? What happens when I'm the old man I was afraid of becoming, but now completely alone with no resources? She said she'd wipe my mouth when I couldn't anymore. Now I can barely afford to feed that mouth. 2 weeks later, I'm packing boxes. I have to move. Can't afford this place anymore. Found a studio apartment across town. 1 room, no balcony. Just 4 walls and a single window facing a 7-Eleven parking lot. But it's what I can afford now. I'm wrapping her favorite mug when I realize I'm crying. Not just for the money. I'm crying for the version of myself that believed someone could love him enough to stay. The version that thought his broken down body was enough to build a life with someone. Her things are still here. The few clothes she didn't take. Some books in Thai. A small Buddha statue. I should throw it all away, but I can't. I pack it in a separate box labeled Pim. Maybe someday I'll be angry enough to throw it away. Today I'm just tired. The studio is small, but clean. I set up my bed, my table, my few books. Make my first cup of tea in the tiny kitchen. It tastes different than when she made it. Not worse, just different. I sit on my single chair and look around my new life. Smaller, quieter, lonelier, but mine. I still love her. That's the part that hurts most. I love who I thought she was. I love the woman who promised to grow old with me. That woman was real to me, even if she was never real to her. But I'm learning something about love I never understood before. Sometimes loving someone means accepting that they never loved you back. Sometimes it means forgiving yourself for believing in something beautiful that turned out to be a lie. I'm not looking for another companion now. I'm learning to grow old with myself, to make my own tea, to lay out my own pills. She stole my money and my dreams of shared old age, but she didn't steal my ability to take care of myself. That's still mine. That's enough. The sun is setting outside my small window. Tomorrow I'll wake up alone, but I'll wake up. I'll take my medication. I'll make my tea. I'll live whatever life is left with the dignity she almost took away. She promised to care for me in old age. Instead, she taught me that the only person who will truly care for me in old age is me. And maybe that's enough. 11. But it's what I can afford now. I'm wrapping her favorite mug in newspaper when I realize I'm crying. Not just for the money. Not even just for her. I'm crying for the version of myself that believed someone could love him enough to stay. The version that thought his broken-down body and limited resources were enough to build a life with someone. The version that made plans for growing old with dignity instead of growing old alone. Her things are still here. The few clothes she didn't take. Some books in Thai that I can't read. A small Buddha statue she kept by the bed. I should throw it all away, but I can't. Not yet. Instead, I pack it in a separate box and label it Pim. Maybe someday I'll be angry enough to throw it away. Today I'm just tired. My new landlord is a British expat who's been in Thailand for 20 years. He helps me move the boxes, doesn't ask questions about why I'm downsizing so dramatically. Been there, mate? He says quietly when I explain I'm moving alone. Hard lesson to learn at our age, but better late than never. I want to ask him what he means, but I think I already know. I'm not the first old foreign man to trust the wrong person in Thailand. I won't be the last. The studio is small but clean. I set up my bed, my small table, my few books. Make my first cup of tea in the tiny kitchen. It tastes different than when she made it. Not worse, just different. Like everything else now, I sit on my single chair and look around my new life. Smaller, quieter, lonelier, but mine. No one can take it away because there's nothing left to take. I still love her. That's the part that hurts most. I love who I thought she was. I love the woman who promised to grow old with me. I love the gentle hands that laid out my medication and the soft voice that said she'd never leave me. That woman was real to me, even if she was never real to her. The love I felt was real, even if hers wasn't. But I'm learning something about love I never understood before. Sometimes loving someone means accepting that they never loved you back. Sometimes it means forgiving yourself for believing in something beautiful that turned out to be a lie. Sometimes it means starting over at 57 with nothing but the painful wisdom that comes from being completely fooled by someone you trusted with everything. I'm not looking for another companion now. I'm not searching for someone to grow old with. I'm learning to grow old with myself, to make my own tea, to lay out my own pills, to face whatever comes next with whatever strength I have left. She stole my money and my dreams of shared old age, but she didn't steal my ability to take care of myself. That's still mine. That's enough. It has to be enough. The sun is setting outside my small window. Tomorrow I'll wake up alone, like I have every day since she left. But I'll wake up. I'll take my medication. I'll make my tea. I'll live whatever life is left to me with the dignity she almost took away. Not because I'm not afraid of being old and alone, but because being old and alone is better than being old and lying to yourself about love that was never there. She promised to care for me in old age. Instead, she taught me that the only person who will truly care for me in old age is me. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough.